listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I had a little manifesting story I thought I'd share with you. I'm giggling because you know what? To me, it was not a little manifesting story. To me, this was a big manifesting story. It was really instrumental in showing me where my power lies as a conscious creator. And I thought you might get some inspiration from it too. So I'll try and tell the quick version. It all started. That doesn't sound like it's going to be a quick version, does it? I suspect it started when I was talking with a friend that I hadn't spoken with in a while. He's asking how my year went, and I was telling him, he said, how's business? It's good. How's your relationships? They're good. How's your health? Good. How's your family? Everything's good. I did say, though, I had a little trouble earlier in the spring when I lost a couple of loved ones. Those of you who've been listening to this podcast know what I'm referring to. And I did not elaborate with him either. I might have said that, I lost a couple dogs, and I don't know if I said it much more than that, but I did not go into detail. It was brief. I kept it casual. I'm pretty sure he had no idea, how traumatic that was for me, because I didn't really go into much detail about it. Hello, I know better than to tell a story of what you don't like. But apparently mentioning it just that briefly was enough to reactivate it, because what happened next was not my favorite thing. So it was probably, the next day, maybe the day after, Merlin wanted to go out. Merlin is I don't know if it's fair to call him my favorite cat. I think any cat I'm talking about at the time is my favorite cat. Okay, that's not true. There are some cats who are not my favorite cats. But I really like Merlin. I'm super fond of this guy. He moved with me. I made him come with me when I moved from my last place. He was a neighborhood cat. I can't call him my cat. He wasn't anyone's cat. He was a neighborhood cat, but I was the one who got him neutered, and I don't know if anyone else got him shots, but I got him shots. I got him microchipped, and when he came home dragging his foot, I got him ACL surgery. I was the one taking care of him. No one else was. So I figured, look, when I'm leaving, I think that guy should come with me. And I talked with a couple animal communicator friends, and everyone said, yes, Merlin should come with you. He wants to come. I don't know if that's true or not, but I brought him. And he's really been liking it up here. We've been up here a couple years, and he thrives up here. I love this guy. He's such a good cat. I really, really like him. He's so cool in so many ways. Anyway, one morning he wanted out. I said, you don't want to go out. It's winter time up here. We have a ton of snow. I live at the bottom of a ski resort. I'm like, this isn't nice weather to be outside. He wanted out. Everyone's getting a little cabin fever. We've been inside for a little while. Anyway, I let him out, but I said, stick close, watch out, the neighbor's dog is out. And I'm pretty sure that neighbor's dog is okay with cats because they have cats, but I wasn't 100% sure. And so I let him out, even though I didn't want him to go out. But what I practice with my cats to the best of my ability is to let them be guided by their own inner guidance. I try not to micromanage. I try not to think that I have to control them in order for me to feel good about how things are unfolding. But man, did I have to remind myself of that when he did not come home in a couple hours. In fact, he not only didn't come home in a couple hours, he didn't come home that night. And he still wasn't there the next morning. And I spent the whole night. I was trying not to be a nervous, worried girl who was missing her cat, because I know what happens. Whoever we're being, that's what we're getting. So I was trying not to be a super freak about knowing he wasn't here, but I spent the whole night popping up every hour looking to see if he was out. He wasn't there in the morning. Wasn't there the next day. It's hard for me to tell the story without swear words because I'm mad now. But at the time, oh my God, I was crushed. It was not a happy time for me. And I thought, this is no way to end a year. I already had enough of this year. I don't want to end this year this way too. But it sure looked like that's what was happening. And I will not say how I came to believe that once a cat goes missing, they don't come back. But I have good reason to believe that once a cat goes missing, that's the end. But we've been getting fresh snow almost every day, so it's easy for me to tell what's happening around here. If he's not in the house, I should be able to tell what's happening out here. So again, I was trying not to be a girl who was missing her cat, but I tried tracking him. I followed tracks out in the snow to see what was up. I could see when the neighbor's cat came over. I could see where the dogs were playing. I could see where the feral kitten, I could see things, but I could not see what happened with Merlin. Could not see what happened with that guy. It was a mystery, and not a good mystery. So, and then I was like, I'm trying not to be sad about it, but then I realized you might just need to be sad. You might just need to let yourself feel these feelings so you can get over it. And so I did. I just let myself sit and cry in a pile of tears. The poor dogs were really worried about me. And I thought maybe that will help me get over it so I can get back to a good place, so I can be a cooperative component, as Abraham would say, in allowing my cat to come back. So I'm trying not to be a girl who lost her cat, but I'm also wanting to look for my cat. And when I was delivering presents to the neighbors, I would just be like trying to slide it in there casually. Oh, by the way, Merlin, you might remember him, my orange and white cat. He is AWOL. If you see him, please let me know. And I wrote my phone number, my cell number, in all the Christmas cards in case they didn't have them. I was making out like it wasn't a big deal because I didn't want to make it a big deal. I didn't think that energy was going to be helpful in letting him come home, but I wanted help in getting this guy home. Of course, I called on angels and such, but I also knew that good things can't happen while I'm feeling bad, and I was feeling really, really, really bad. And I thought, I don't want to end the year like this. So I thought I decided I could just give myself the gift of feeling better. I could just decide to be okay instead of be what I was being. And I thought, well, how can I be okay when it's not okay? But I cannot tell you how many times I have given this spiel to clients and to myself. I know it really well. I thought, this is your time to practice it again. So, look, for a lot of people, losing a cat might not be a big deal, but I don't have kids. I have cats, I have dogs. These are my loved ones. And this is about as bad as it gets for me. This is as bad as it's ever been for me. Hopefully that will be true for my entire life. Anyway, so I just decided to feel better. I decided that that I can be okay. And the best way for me to feel better was to just decide that Merlin was here. I just decided I'm not going to acknowledge that guy's gone. I'm not going to manifest him gone anymore. I'm going to manifest him here. I'm just going to conduct myself as if all my loved ones were accounted for, including Merlin. And that was the thought that I used. Every time I would walk into the room where he would normally be sleeping and he wasn't there, and I'd feel that terrible, terrible pang in my stomach like my world had just fallen apart, I would remind myself, all my loved ones are with me now. I don't know what you're talking about. He's just probably eating or using litter box because all my loved ones are with me now. I gave myself the gift of that thought and that feeling of what it feels like to know that everything's fine. I know what it feels like to feel like everything's fine. I can feel that again right here and right now. And I did. And every time I would walk by the back door and I would find myself looking to see if he was there and he wasn't, and I would feel that bad feeling again, and I would remind myself, all my loved ones are with me now. It's like there was just an unreasonable person in my head who was seeing reality in a way that wasn't remotely accurate. Every time a thought would come up like, he's gone, and he's gone for good. No, all my loved ones are with me now. All my loved ones are with me now. And I would look around and I'd see a lot of loved ones. And so I could start to get some traction. At first, man, it felt like I was smoking something. And I know how this works, though. Sometimes those thoughts aren't easy to plug into at first. And sometimes you have to find a different version that works better. Sometimes you have to soften it. Sometimes you got to use all your tricks to find the thought that feels better. But the one that worked for me was to remember this. There's no such thing as death. That's the biggest illusion that I think a lot of us roll with. And that's to believe that when someone dies, when someone leaves their physical body, that they're actually gone. I don't believe they're gone. I believe that consciousness is forever. And I believe what Abraham says about how animals aren't attached to their physical bodies the way we are. And that even when they're not in physicality, they're still here. They can be, if you'd let yourself just be aware of their presence. So that thought that all my loved ones are with me now, I thought, that's true, no matter what. That's totally true. It's not like this crazy, ridiculous thing I'm trying to manifest. Of course he's with me. Of course all my loved ones are. That's the most obvious true thought that a person ever thought. That's how I got some traction with that thought. All my loved ones are with me now. And I had texted one friend, and I talked on the phone with another friend about my situation with Merlin. And they know me well enough to know that this is not going to be good for Jeanette. And their knowing that wasn't going to help. So I didn't need them like calling or texting, asking for updates. Instead, I texted them and I texted one friend and I told the other one, I said, I just decided that all my animals are home, safe and sound, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And one of my friends, he misunderstood the text, like he thought I was saying everyone was home, safe and sound. And that's fine. That was a fine thing. That was a fine thing for everyone to think. I didn't need anyone throwing any contrary thoughts out there. So it helped me get on board with it too. And it was a chance for me to make peace with that, you know what? They have their own free will. They get to come and go as they like. I didn't want to be one of those people who was in like micromanaging control of her animals for my own well-being, for my own peace of mind. I wanted them to live the life that they wanted. And I had to remind myself this when I kept questioning, why did you let him out when you knew you didn't feel good about letting him out and still you did it? I had to remind myself that I let them live their life. I'm not in charge of them. Lord knows I've tried that routine before. That one doesn't work either. All right, so I'm rolling with the thought, and I'm trying to be the girl who has all of her loved ones here, a girl. And I'm like, how does that girl feel? That girl feels relaxed. She feels at peace. She's enjoying the season. She feels happy. And I did my best to be that person instead of to be the person who was closing out the year with another loss. And I did okay with it. I'm going to say I'm pretty proud of myself. I think I did pretty good. I mean, look, I had recent experience with what my routine looked like when I wasn't doing that. And trust me, this was night and day. So I think I get a lot of credit for pulling that off as well as I did. So much so that one day I'm going out to go clear snow and turning around to grab my gloves. Oh, in fact, I let in Fairy Kitty. She had been outside and she wanted back in. I opened the door, I let her in, and I had the brief thought it would be nice to be letting Merlin in right now. But I didn't have the pang. I didn't have the dread. I didn't have the crushing feeling that I had when I first was thinking thoughts like, when Merlin's not here. It was just it was kind of a light little, it'd be nice to be letting Merlin in too. And I put on my coat and I put on a hat, reached around for my gloves, and turned around. There he was, right at the back door, sitting right there, waiting to be let in, just like I wanted him to be all along. Well, not all along. I didn't want him to be all along because partway through this routine, I decided that he was there. I decided he was home, and that's why I could feel better about things. And there he was, in real life. I opened up the door, I picked him up, I burst into tears, and then I went out to go look for where the hell he came from. Because I couldn't see where he went, but I was sure going to see where he came from. So I went outside and I was looking for tracks, and there were none. And I'm talking fresh snow, and there were no tracks anywhere. How he got up the stairs, the snowy stairs, to the deck. Look, well, you know what? I was talking with a friend, a client who I consider a friend, who she said to me, Jeanette, cats are different than dogs. I don't know exactly how she put it, but she said they move between worlds more easily than the rest of us. She says, I totally understand why they are witches' familiars, often witches' familiars. Anyway, Merlin was back. The reason I'm telling this story isn't because I think I manifested my cat back home. It's because that wasn't the big win, although I am really glad for him to be here. In fact, this morning, I woke up this morning with Harvey was sleeping next to me. And Jasmine, she's, I don't know who trained this dog that she's not supposed to be in beds, but when Harvey comes up into bed, she wants to come up so badly, but I think someone told her she's not supposed to be in there, because even when I call her up, she usually doesn't come. I have to get out and go give her a belly rub because she doesn't come up. But this morning, she jumped into bed with me. So I'm in bed with Harvey, and I got Jasmine right there, and that girl is a cuddler. She's like, she can't get close enough. I love this dog so much. She's such a sweetheart. And White Cat was there, and the feral kitten that I've been taming. Oh, I got that kitten like around in early September. That kitten is so friendly. She likes to sleep in bed with me now. And Merlin was in bed too. Like, seriously, my bed was full. I'm like, this is a lot of animals, because these are not small dogs. And I was just loving it. And I had the thought, all my loved ones are here. And I burst out laughing, because that's the thought I had to practice. I had to practice believing for a while. And here it was. It was just beautiful. Okay, the reason I'm telling this story is not because I think that it was cool that I manifested Merlin back. I didn't manifest. Merlin does what he wants. I do think it's really cool that he is back here with me now. But I think the real miracle of that story was being willing to give myself relief before the conditions had changed. Before there was a reason to feel better, I felt better. I found a way to feel better. And that's the heart of conscious creation. We're not using our manifesting powers to change things out there so we can feel better in here. Rather, we're finding ways to feel better in here, inside, because that's what we wanted all along anyway. And once we get that, once we find a way to feel better in here, the out there, it gets pretty fabulous. So that's my favorite manifesting story of the month. I'll be a little more deliberate maybe in the future about how I talk to friends, about how my year unfolded. Maybe I'll pay a little bit better attention to the thoughts that I'm thinking and how I'm feeling when I answer the cat's request to go outside, and make sure that I let that cat out with peace and joy and love in my heart instead of slight worry. But if you get anything from this story, I hope it's that we have the power to feel better right here and right now, simply by finding a thought that feels better. This is not rocket science. I am teaching a course on this. I know many of you have already joined it. If you're a GVU member, we're starting that later in January. So we'll get more practice at that routine together this year. But it isn't rocket science. It's as simple as finding one better feeling thought at a time. And what that thought is for you is different than what that thought is for me. But I like that we can share with each other what works, and maybe get some tips the next time we might find ourselves in a bind, and maybe have an easier time of manifesting our way out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this story. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.